Picking herbs has always been an excellent way to pass the time. I bend down to grab the basil from its spot in our family garden when something knocks me to the ground. Startled, I try to find the source and am met with my youngest sister Susie. She isn't her usual smiling self, though. The whites of her eyes are red. Dried tears stain her rosy cheeks. She looks as if she's seen a murder. My face pales at the realization. Susie? I question, not wanting to admit what I know is true. We have to go, Anna. They're coming for us now. Fresh tears spill over her eyelashes as she stands to her feet. Today would be the day. I knew it when I woke up. We haven't had any humans around the property in ages, only the rotten ones. Even though I expected this to happen, I knew we weren't ready for the journey ahead. I nod, standing from the ground, and look around. The big farmhouse is empty. They must be in the barn behind the house. There is no noise, though, and there are no indications that they have already started the hunt. Taking my younger sister's hand, we run. We both know this situation is life or death. I listen to my surroundings when weaving between the thick forest trees. It's so quiet in the swampy forest, with no bugs or frog sounds, only the rushed, wet footsteps of my sister and me. That's never a good sign. Then, as if they could hear my thoughts, I heard the faint thudding. Heavy footsteps trailing in the distance behind us. Susie looks over at me, her eyes wide. I nod at her, silently expressing my thoughts. We do our best to push our legs faster. Caring less about preventing the trees from scraping our bodies, we keep going. In the distance, the thudding splits into 2 different patterns, then 3, then more than I can differentiate. We can't go to the treehouse. What if they find us there? The treehouse is our only safe hiding place. It would be exposed, and they would catch us. A whirling sound whips to the left of my head. A homemade arrow sticks out of the tree in front of me. My father's signature arrow, the familiar hand-carved wood wrapped in dried skin. He justifies his hobby of making them by reminding us that a good hunter uses all animal parts. Seeing it makes my blood run cold, yet my mouth waters, thinking about the juicy meat once hidden underneath that skin. I shake the thought and focus on the task at hand. We have to escape. My empty stomach is not a problem that I should worry about right now. More arrows whip by us, causing a terrified scream to rip from my sister. I look to her to make sure she isn't harmed when pain sears through my arm. I let out a cry. The fleshy arrow sticking out of my arm felt like fire. My sister also screams after seeing my wound. I come to a stop, blinded with pain. Anna, she stops. We have to pull it out. More tears fall from her blue eyes as they shine with the terror she undoubtedly feels. Anna was never good at hiding things from us. Her expressions told us everything going on inside that blonde head of hers. If my assumptions are true, it's how our family of creatures figured out our plan. We both wanted to get away from the madness gripping our family. I shake my head no. Keep running. We'll have to run to the boats and make our way out of the marsh. We do our best to pick up the pace again, our motivation stemming from the fact that we finally have a plan, a way to escape and survive. It's not the ideal plan. We have no supplies, not even a map of the swamp to navigate our way back to civilization or what's left of it. We can do this, Susie. I yell to my sister, hoping that motivation will make her feel better. I've always taken care of her. The distant thudding of footsteps stops, and no more arrows fly in our direction. I sigh. This makes our escape so much easier. I can tell we aren't far now because the water keeps getting deeper and the trees spread out a bit. I can see the familiar light of the dock. The family always left oil lamps lit as an easy escape from the rotten ones. Even though it is only beginning to be dusk, the warm lamplight is easy to see. My arm is covered in thick, metallic blood. It's been slowly seeping from my wound. My stomach growls, and I fight the urge to consume the warm liquid. I'm so hungry. We haven't eaten meat in so long. Animals don't satisfy the hunger. Susie slows to a stop, bringing me out of thought. She stares ahead, breathing heavily. A rotten one stands between us and our escape route. Its body is heavily waterlogged, and one eye droops from its socket. It was once male, heavy-set, and wearing fishing gear when bitten. Fear grips me once again. I have no weapon. There is nothing to fight off its attack. I have never seen one this far out in the marsh. Usually, gators or wild dogs get to them before they become an issue. I'm too worried about the threat before us to notice the thudding of footsteps again. The rotten one stumbles towards us. Its left foot seems chewed, making it slower than usual. The familiar sound of an arrow flies beside me, and the rotten one falls, a fleshy arrow sticking from its eye socket. "Susie, come on," I yell, grabbing my sister's hand and pulling her forward, hoping she didn't notice the arrow that killed the rotten one. That would be too easy. She is stunned. The rotten ones scare her more than what chases us. We take the old wooden steps in twos and run onto the dock. Our escape, a canoe tied off at the edge, awaits us. This escape is too easy. She's smarter than this plan. Susie walks to the boat, trying to untie it from the docks. She stops when she notices I'm not at her side. She looks at me, and for the first time, I can't read her expression. The flame of the fight dances across her pale skin. "This is a little too easy, don't you think?" she asks, looking from me to the canoe. I nod at her, a smile crawling onto my lips. "You're just figuring this out, Susie?" It took her longer than I calculated to understand the situation. Her beautiful face falls, and her terror is palpable in the air. "What are you doing, Anna? I thought we both decided to end this and run?" Her sing-song voice shakes. Her big blue eyes fill with salty, sweet tears. "Susie," I step towards her. "I can never stop. It's gotten a hold of me. Nothing will ever compare to flesh." I bring my hand covered in my blood to my mouth and lick it. I moan out loud at the taste. I've been waiting for a taste since Father shot me. It would have consumed my thoughts had I not committed to my act. Susie looks behind me, and she lets out a cry. "Well done, Anna." My mother coos. She stands behind me, wrapping her arm around my shoulders to help her balance. I feel the jerking of her arms as she holds on to me. "Mom, please," Susie cries. "We aren't animals. We should have stayed in the city when everything went to hell. I just want to leave." Mother gently grabs my wounded arm, examining it. She brings my blooded wrist to her mouth and licks the skin. She smiles at me and then my sister, blood coating her teeth. She shakes her head. "No, we aren't animals. We are doing what we must to survive this new world." She looks at me and then back at my little sister. "You never would even try one bite." I feel my father standing on my other side, bow in hand. He pats my shoulder. "Good job, Anna. Just as we planned." "Why?" Susie cries. "I'm your daughter, your sister." She steps back, close to the edge of the dock. She frantically looks around, trying to find an escape. "We are hungry. You were going to leave anyway," my mother scoffs. No child of mine would abandon this family in its time of need. My father remains quiet, taking in the conversation. Susie makes a run for it, trying to escape her fate. Like when hunting the others, my father draws his bow, and an arrow pierces her head before Susie can get much further. Her body falls to the ground with a thump. She's dead. Father is a good hunter. He doesn't like to see our food suffer. I find myself annoyed with his aim. "Father," I groan, "you promised me the eyes. Hopefully, they are edible." He chuckles at my annoyance, running a hand down his long beard. "Sorry, darling. I'll see what we can do." I nod. "I'll get Mother back home." I guide my mother off the dock, her twitching nearly causing us to tumble from the top step. Father and I share a look between the two of us before splitting off to do our duties. If we don't see any other humans for a while again, Mother will have to be next. After all, Susie had her big blue, delicious eyes.